This video is a very quick note on a little quirk of the generic syntax if you are working with React, if you're working in a TSX file. So this is not a course on React, but if you know React, if you're watching this because you're working with React and TypeScript, if I make some demo.tsx, which is JSX with TypeScript enabled. So JSX, if you have no idea what that is, you don't need to watch this. I'll just confuse you. But of course, we use angle brackets all the time in JSX, right? That's how we write our HTML templating stuff directly in our JavaScript. So we use that same syntax for generics, and TypeScript gets a little confused when we write arrow functions. So if I copy over my getRandomElement, this is totally fine. It's able to parse this and understand this is not JSX. This is part of our generic function syntax. But if I wrote this using an arrow function, which would look like this, let's say I stored in a variable, so like const getRandomElement equals this, and then I have my arrow right there. I don't know if you saw, VS Code tried to autocomplete this. It thinks that this is actually an HTML tag or a JSX tag. That's not the case. So what I need to do is add a trailing comma right there. And then it's going to complain, oh yeah, it's just complaining that there's two getRandomElements. It doesn't matter. That's not the error that we're worried about. It's actually able to understand this syntax now. So you have to add that weird trailing comma after that type parameter. So just beware of that. If you are working in a TSX file and you write an arrow function, that is a generic function, it's going to mess everything up unless you add in that trailing comma. Again, only a problem if you're working in TSX files. If I just copy this over to my regular TypeScript file, I'm going to get an error because I have two functions or two things with the same name, the same identifier, but there's no syntax problem. It's able to understand this function as an arrow function. All right, so just quick little note there.